Monochrome designs can fall flat if not done intentionally. Today, I'm gonna be doing a red on red Valentine's Day sweatshirt utilizing puff vinyl. I'm gonna show you how texture, placement, and simplicity makes all the difference. Let's jump into it. Okay, so the materials we're gonna be using today, pretty simple. We got our red sweatshirt. This is a Gildan size medium shirt. I'll show you a close-up when I do measurements on that. And then we're using Caesar Easy Puff as our vinyl for the front. And then we're gonna do a little small design on the sleeve, and we're using Eco Stretch Easy Weave. That's it. Okay, so the design I decided to go for was a simple stacked love. So it's the L, the O, the V, and the E, and a period. This I want to cover the entire front. And then for the sleeve, I'm simply just gonna do Forever Valentine and my name. And that's it. Now over to measurements. With my shirt flat, I'm measuring about 3 inches from the collar to figure out where my design will start, what's the top of my design, and then looking at where the bottom of my design will go. I utilized the Cricut mat because I landed close to a 12 by 12, and that worked for the front. For the sleeve, I flattened out my sleeve and I'm just measuring across. We're gonna go with a 4 by 3 design there because I do not want it to be too big. Now over into Cricut Design Space. I know I wanted the LOVE to be hollow. So I wanted the letters to just have the outline and nothing inside. So first I dropped in the L, and sometimes Cricut actually has some of these already laid out or designed, but I didn't find one that I liked. So I ended up having to just search for the font. To find a font like this in Cricut, you're gonna type outline into the search bar, and the Cricut outline font should show up. Now that we got our font, it's time to stack our letters. The way that I like to stack the letters is actually just creating an additional text box and putting V and the E on the bottom and keeping L and O at the top. This allows me to have V and E in its own text box to play around with. For the period in this design, I wanted it to be a solid dot and not an outline. So I just changed the font for the period and played around with sizing. I wanted the bottom of the E and the period to be about the same size. Next, I just want to arrange the letters a little bit. I wanted to push the V and the E a little bit over, but then I also wanted to check the distance between the L, the L and the O and the V and the E, make sure everything was aligned. One thing I did want to do is I felt like the V and the E were still a little too far apart, so I wanted to bring those a little closer together. So I'm going to use letter space in here to just pull those a little bit closer. Okay, I feel good about how this looks right now, so I'm just gonna group everything together so that I can play around with the size and get everything how we want it to be cut. So our size, we did a width of 11.5 and a height of about 12. I had to do this twice. The first time I did it, I realized that the period was actually counting against me when it was all grouped together in this way when we did the sizing. So I ungrouped. I attached what I wanted to be attached to each other, which is the L, the O, the V, and the E. And then I maximized how much width I can put on that, which is about 11.5, and then kept the height at 12. Now when I send it to cut, it comes with the LOVE and the period is separate. But I'm gonna put the period into the middle to maximize my vinyl. Now over to the sleeve design. It took me a while to figure out what font I wanted to use, so I ended up using 3. Our first font is Love Story. I ended up using Love Story just for the word forever. My second font is Aurella, which is for Valentine. And then last, I used Bayamo for the name. Next, I'm just gonna align my design to make sure everything is spaced evenly and how I want it. Group the design together and then click make. Time to cut it. All right, so we got everything cut out and ready to get pressed. So let's head over to the heat press. It looks cute already. Loving the red on red. We're setting our heat press at 280 for 9 seconds. Our heat press is all heated up. Let's do a pre-press. You could do it the full 8 seconds that this is on. get our tool here. Our shirt is even. So let's make sure my vinyl is exactly how I want it. So I'm gonna just fold this in half. My center is here. I'm gonna go 3 inches down. Let me bring you in a little bit closer. All right, everything is all lined up on the red line. We're gonna press again. This is a press for 9 seconds at 281. Well, 9 seconds at 280. Boom. And you're gonna do heel. So one thing with puff, you do not want to press more than once. Ooh, that's beautiful. See that puff on that? Do right sleeve. Just do a little quick press. We're gonna use a press pillow here just because I want this to make sure it presses evenly. And just like that, we have another shirt done. All right, here's the finished product on the body. So key takeaway from this video is whenever you are doing color on color, try to play around with texture, placement, do all the things you can in design just to make this feel a little bit less stagnant. So instead of putting my love going straight across, I decided to stack it, add a little period on the side, do what feels right, but remember, simplicity when it's color on color, and change the type of vinyl. So always don't let it be flat. Let it have some kind of dimension. So whether that's metallic, red, whether that's brick 600 that pops out, whether it's flock that adds a different feel, change the vinyl on the shirt and then automatically you've elevated your design. As always, if you learned something new or you simply like my videos, give this a thumbs up. Until next time, bye!